wanted to get your reaction to the fight. I mean, obviously, Richardson Hitchins has been a guy that said, "Hey, you should be mentioning my name when it comes down to the Tiafimos, the Subir Matias, the Devin Haney's." Um, as far as this performance, this step up is concerned, what would you grade it? And what would you think about it? What's your reaction upon it? And as far as those other names that I mentioned, what you think? You think that people should be saying Richardson should be on that level as well?
Um, what do you mean, like great and like 1 through 10? Like how do you greatest performance or
You could, yeah. I mean, you could grade his performance, and then also as far as like, does this type of performance make you think anything different of him when it comes down to some of these other guys that we're mentioning?
um I watched the fight. It was a pretty good fight. I give him about maybe if you say on a scale of 1 to 10, I give him about a 7. He didn't do bad. He showed a good jab. He showed the ability to stay in there. I think that Richardson, I think the mistake that he made was he talked down on the opponent, like the opponent didn't belong in the ring with him. From the clips I saw, I don't try not to watch social media and stuff, but I did see a couple of clips of him saying some things about his opponent, like he was too small, he was a nobody, he should have been in the ring. How Eddie Hearn, he was stealing money or something to that effect, like it wasn't going to be a competitive fight. And I think that he's got a right to feel that way. He's a fighter and he's the one in the ring putting himself on the line. But at the same time, when you talk about your opponents that way and then they give you a life and death struggle, people going to criticize you. So, that's the one thing that he may have to be careful with moving forward. You got to show your opponents. You don't have to be in awe of them, but if you're not going to show them a healthy respect, then you better do everything you said you was going to do. You can't say a guy can't, you know, uh, that's going to be, easy work, and then you go out there and it's hard work. You know what I'm saying? So, some guys talk trash and then they get away with it because they go deliver, and then other guys, if they say certain things, if they don't deliver, we're in this stage where everybody wants to criticize you and go back to something that you said. So it was just learning experience. He's a young fighter. He's a confident kid, and he's just gonna have to adjust that. Either he's gonna have to get better and start doing what he say he's gonna do, or he's gonna have to just be humble and just go ahead and fight. Because a lot of people think he lost that fight. I thought it was a good fight. Um, I think that sometimes that the urban kids, they get a guy that's not like a black guy, or we don't know him, we from another country or something like that. They kind of like think that the guy is soft or he can't fight. But that was a rough dude. That dude was rough, man. I was watching him because Richardson Hitchins, he's a small guy with a lot of pedigree and a good jab. So just that alone, and the fact that he's moving in boxing is going to be hard for people to get to him because he got some nice skills. But that dude was closing the distance like this, man. He was like right on top of him. That I was like, wow, because I didn't know much about him either. But um, I know that you could just run into guys that you just won't expect to be what they are, and then they turn out to be savages. And I think that Hitchens learned, a lot from that fight. It was like, okay, I got to get better, and sometimes just because I don't know a guy, that don't mean that the guy can't fight. So as we grow, we become more wise, and hopefully, you know, he learned. That was a really tough fight. I was impressed with both. Uh, he got a little Isak Cruz in his game, where he's just a rough guy, man, throwing some big and not stopping. So it was a good fight.
Um, as far as like scoring it and stuff like that, and people calling it a robbery, I mean, in your eyes, do you feel like they got the decision right? And do you feel like what how did you have it when you was looking at it?
Well, I never score fights when I'm watching them out of enjoyment in my bed. So I don't want to be that guy to act like I was writing it down. When I heard 117, 111, I was really disappointed. I'm gonna say that. You know, because that means that the judge had Lemos only winning 3 rounds and Hitchins winning 9. You That's pretty tough, to be honest. Like the kid won the first 2 rounds and he won the eighth big because I think he hurt Richardson. And that's 3 rounds right there off the top that I could just remember where they really wasn't like hard to score. So if it would have been the draws kind of fight, nobody could complain. But 9 rounds to 3, is just not right. So that's where all of the robbery claims come in. That I don't even think that Hitchins' corner thought he was winning 9 rounds to 3. Because it was a sense of urgency in his corner because they knew that it was a close fight. They was telling them it was a close fight. So that wasn't fair to the other guy. I thought the fight was drawish, or Lemos had a little bit of an edge. But again, I didn't have anything right. I wasn't writing anything down. Hitchens did some good work, and just because you're winning the more quiet rounds, that don't mean that you're not winning them. I'll say this without scoring a fight: that Lemos won his rounds bigger than Hitchens won his rounds. I'll say that. So at the end of the fight, my first natural reaction was draw or Lemos. That was my first natural reaction. Like before all things kind of influence your judgment or whatever. So I'd have been cool with a draw. I would have been cool with Lemos 115, 113. Um uh Hitchens 117, 111 is just, man. I really don't know what to say about it. I don't want to, it's not my fighter, it's not my fight. So I don't want to start. I just don't know how you could come up with that scorecard. But so that's my opinion of it.
Now, as far as he's driving. Oh no, he got a call. You there, Brad?
I'm here. I'm here.
So yeah, that question upon like, hey, if are they, should we be still mentioning him, among those other guys? Because what I'm getting here is that it just seems like it's from listening to you, it's a A and B side type of a situation.
Well, I don't, I never really had any fighters with match room, so I can't, I don't want to get in all of that because I don't really know everything that going over there behind the scenes. I just saw a fight that was a lot closer than the scorecard, and you could draw from that what you want, but I don't know. If you're asking me, is he in the same league as Devin Haney and with Teofimo Lopez and the other guys that won 40?
Matias,
Um,
Matias, and Pitbull Cruz.
yeah, I'm gonna say that he has talent to compete with them, but honestly, um, he's not. He's probably not as developed as they are right now. You know what I'm saying? Like they're probably like further along in a progress. Like I was watching the fight, right, and I said, "Damn, I didn't know he was just 17-0." Because I remember him from back in the day. He's a talented kid. He fought Jerron Ennis, I believe, in Philadelphia when they had the Olympic trials here many years ago. So I remember him. So I didn't know he only had 17